The sky was not blue anymore. It was black and full of fire. Giant alien warships covered the skies over Earth's largest cities. They were so big, they blocked the sun. People on the ground looked up in fear. The alien ships made no sound, but the air felt heavy. The Krax Empire had arrived. The Krax were not just any aliens. They were known across the galaxy as planet killers. They had destroyed 27 planets before Earth. Every time, they gave the same message: surrender or vanish. Most planets surrendered. A few tried to fight, but they all lost. Now, it was Earth's turn. In the middle of a burned city, the Krax army stood in formation. Their soldiers were tall, with sharp metal armor and glowing red eyes. Their claws clicked against the ground as they marched. Behind them stood their leader, General Vorik. He was over 9 feet tall, with deep scars on his face. His voice was deep and cold. His ship had landed in what used to be New Berlin. Now, the city was nothing but dust and fire. But something was wrong. There was no human army. No tanks. No jets. No soldiers. No sign of Earth's defense. Only one man stood at the edge of the destroyed battlefield. He wore black clothes, no armor, and carried no weapon. His face was calm. No fear in his eyes. General Vorik walked closer, confused. "Where is your army?" he asked loudly, his voice echoing through the silent ruins. The man looked up slowly. Then, with a small smile, he pointed to himself. The Krax soldiers laughed. Even General Vorik chuckled. One human, against a full army. It was a joke. A very bad joke. "You must be mad," Vorik said, "or stupid." The man didn't speak. He didn't move. He just stood there, eyes fixed on the general. Then, without warning, the lights on the Krax ships started to flicker. One by one, the alien machines powered down. "Report," shouted Vorik. His soldiers looked confused. Their radios failed. Their scanners showed nothing. Something was jamming their systems. In that moment of confusion, the man moved. But no one saw him move. 1 second he was standing far away. Then suddenly he was in the middle of the Krax squad. Crack. A soldier fell, his armor broken. Wham! Another flew through the air like a rag doll. The man moved like a shadow, silent, fast, deadly. The Krax began to fire, but their weapons jammed. Sparks flew from their guns. Systems failed. Nothing worked. General Vorik watched in shock as his elite warriors were taken down in seconds. "Is he some kind of machine?" One soldier gasped before falling. "No," said Vorik softly. "He's something worse." In less than 3 minutes, 20 Krax soldiers were on the ground, unable to move. The man walked toward the general, calm as ever. He stopped 10 steps away. "You wanted to see Earth's army," he said finally, his voice quiet but strong. Vorik's hands shook. He had faced many battles. He had destroyed cities. But never had he felt fear like this. "This is not possible," the general muttered. "You are just one man." The man nodded. "Yes, one man. That's all we need." In space, above Earth, more Krax ships began to malfunction. Something had entered their systems. A virus. A ghost. A code too advanced for Krax computers to fight. The man on the ground had not only broken their soldiers, he had also broken their machines. And he was just getting started. Back at Krax Command, panic began. Alarms blared. Ships lost contact. Captains screamed over the comms. "We're under attack, but we don't see anything." The truth was simple. There was no large army, no big battle. There was just one man. One human, trained for this mission, designed for this war. His name was Captain Riss, and he was not here to surrender. He was here to end the war, alone. The final battle, high above Earth. The sky was full of ships. The Krax fleet, massive and terrifying, filled the space above Earth. Their guns charged, their fighters swarmed. But humanity was not afraid. Captain Riss, now in his advanced-powered armor, stood in front of a squad of elite soldiers. The world's last hope. "We don't stop," Riss said, his voice calm, but full of fire. "We don't turn back." Behind him, thousands of Earth's fighters followed. Ships, drones, and tanks launched into space. Every nation, every people, every part of Earth came together. It was humanity's last stand. In orbit, Crack's fleet reacts. The Crack's Emperor stood on his throne, watching as Earth's forces launched into the sky. "Send everything we have," he growled. "Annihilate them all." His officers hesitated. "But, Emperor, they've destroyed our main cannon, and their soldiers are fighting back with everything." The Emperor slammed his fist down. "They fight as one army, one people. The human spirit is stronger than we thought, but we'll break them. We will break them." The space battle. Human forces strike back. The air in space was silent, but the battle was loud. Human fighters darted through the chaos, weaving around alien ships. They fired, hitting Crack's warships with precise shots. Earth's drones swarmed like a storm, zipping around enemy ships and launching explosive missiles. Rise and his squad led the charge. They attacked Crack's destroyers, ripping through their shields and armor. One by one, enemy ships fell. The battle on the ground. Humanity holds. Back on Earth, human soldiers fought on every continent. They were tired. They were bruised. But they fought with everything they had. In cities, jungles, deserts, and oceans, Earth's soldiers battled with everything they had. The Cracks tried to land their troops, but humanity refused to fall. General Harper stood at the command center, giving orders. "We hold," she shouted. "We push them back." Rice versus the Emperor. In the heart of space, Captain Rice and his squad reached the Dreadfire, the flagship of the Cracks fleet. Its engines burned bright as the Emperor watched from his throne room. Rice approached the ship, his armor glowing with power. "Rice," the Emperor's voice boomed. "You have no army. You have no chance." Rice smiled. "I don't need one. I am Earth's army." And with that, he charged. The battle inside the ship was fierce. Rice fought Crack's soldiers. His armor cracked, but his spirit never wavered. With every strike, he remembered why he fought. For his family, for his people, for Earth. At last, he reached the Emperor's chamber. The Emperor roared, "You're too weak to stop me, human." Rice didn't reply. Instead, he leaped into the air, and with one final punch, he shattered the Emperor's throne. The Cracks Emperor fell to the ground. The Cracks Empire was broken. The Cracks fleet retreats. Without their Emperor, the Cracks fleet lost all control. Ships began to retreat. Soldiers surrendered. The great Cracks war machine that had terrorized the galaxy for centuries was falling apart. Earth had done it. Humanity had won. The world celebrates. Back on Earth, the news spread like wildfire. The Cracks were defeated. The Earth was saved. People cried. People cheered. Cities erupted in joy. Nations celebrated. Flags waved. Children danced in the streets. Humans from all parts of the world came together, united as one. Rice returns. Captain Rice, bruised, bloodied, and tired, returned to Earth. His armor was cracked. His body broken. But his spirit, unstoppable. As he landed, Earth's people greeted him as their hero, as the symbol of their strength. But Rice didn't need the fame. He didn't need the glory. He had one mission, and that mission was to protect the Earth, to ensure the survival of the human race. "We fight," he said simply, "because it's what we do." A new beginning. The Cracks Empire was gone, but the fight for peace had only just begun. Humans stood together, ready to face whatever came next. They had proven that they would never give up, no matter the enemy, no matter the odds. And as Reyes looked up at the stars, He knew one thing was certain. Humanity would always rise. The end. Captain Reyes lay still in the desert. The ground was quiet. The wind blew over broken rocks and bloodstains. He had won, but the price was high. His body was not moving. His eyes were closed. His chest rose and fell, barely. Thousands of miles away, across the skies, and into orbit, the real war had just begun. Crack's fleet, high orbit over Earth. Inside the massive warship Dreadfire, the Crack's Emperor stood before a giant window, staring down at the blue planet. His face was full of anger. "Zhalgor is dead," he growled. "We gave the humans one chance. Now we show them our true power." A giant weapon began to charge. Red lights flashed across every Crack ship. "Prepare the doomsday cannon," the commander shouted. "Target Earth's capital cities." The cannon glowed, dark red like fire from hell. "Earth command. Warning alarms ring." Screens lit up across the base. Multiple Crack's warships powering weapons. Main cannon locked on major cities. Estimation: total planetary destruction in 10 minutes. General Harper stood frozen. Everyone around her panicked. Some cried. Some prayed. Some called home. But Harper's voice cut through the noise. "Silence." She pointed at the screen. "We hold. We fight. We show them that Earth never bows." Medical bunker. Rice is alive. In a secure underground base, medics surrounded Rice's body. Machines beeped. Blood bags dripped. His heart was weak, but still beating. One nurse gasped. "He's healing." But it's too slow. Suddenly, a soldier burst in. "General, Cracks are going to fire. We're out of time." The nurse looked at Rice and whispered, "Come on, Captain. We need you." Global broadcast. Harper speaks. Across every screen, phones, TVs, space stations, General Harper appeared. She looked tired, bruised, but strong. "This is Earth's final hour," she said. "The Cracks are coming to end us, but we will not go quietly. We have one last defense, and one last hope." All around the world, Earth's armies prepared. Tanks rolled through streets. Fighters launched into the sky. Satellites aligned. Civilians helped build shields. Engineers fixed old weapons. Old soldiers returned to duty. Humanity stood together. In space, Cracks began their assault. Hundreds of Crack ships moved closer. The sky above Earth turned black with metal. Laser cannons charged. Fighters launched. The countdown began. 10 minutes. Secret human weapon. Project Solar Spear. Deep in Earth's orbit, hidden behind the moon, a human ship powered up. It was long, sharp, quiet. Project Solar Spear. It had no crew, just one job: pierce the heart of any fleet. Earth's leaders had saved it for the final moment. Now was that moment. "Launch it," Harper ordered. The sleek weapon ship shot forward. No sound, no trail, just deadly silence. Back on Earth, Rise awakens. His eyes opened. He gasped for air. The nurse screamed, "He's awake." Rice tried to sit up. His body ached. Bones cracked. But his voice was calm. "Where is the fight?" General Harper entered the room. She looked at him, her eyes full of hope. "They're coming to destroy us," she said. Rice stood. His legs shook, but he didn't fall. "Then I'll destroy them first," he said. Final preparations. Earth's heroes rise. Across Earth, heroes emerge. A blind scientist activated a solar cannon he built in secret. A teenage girl led drones into the sky. Old war veterans stood beside young recruits. From every land, humans united. No one ran. No one begged. They stood, ready to defend their home. Crack's Emperor gives the order. Fire the doomsday cannon. A blast of energy larger than any seen before shot from the Crack ship, heading for Earth. But just before it could hit, boom. The solar spear slammed through the crack's cannon. Explosion. Fire. Chaos. The main weapon was destroyed. The cracked ship shook. Panic spread. Earth's counterattack begins. Riz, now in a powered armor suit, stood in front of a squad of elite soldiers. "Let's take the fight to them," he said. They launched into the sky, toward orbit, toward the enemy fleet, toward the final battle. The sky above the alien command station turned darker, not because of clouds, but because of hundreds of Earth ships now slowly uncloaking, one by one, around the alien fleet. They came from all directions, from behind moons, asteroid fields, and even inside hidden space folds, silent, deadly, ready. Inside the war room, Cavor could no longer pretend to be calm. One of his officers shouted, "Sir, over 300 human ships just uncloaked." Cavor spun toward the screen. 300? That's impossible. "They're everywhere," the officer said. "Behind our main fleet, above our command line, even under our flagship." Creed stood silently in the center of the room. He didn't need to speak anymore. The screen spoke for him. The ships came in all sizes, fast hunters, mid-class destroyers, and 5 massive dreadnoughts, each one as big as a floating city. They didn't fire. Not yet. They only surrounded. Cavor's mouth was dry. What kind of trick is this?" Creed finally spoke. "This isn't a trick. This is what happens when you poke a sleeping lion." Cavor's pride was melting fast. His officers were beginning to panic. Some shouted into radios, others typed commands, but their hands were shaking. One young alien officer said quietly, "I thought humans were weak." Creed turned his head. That's what the galaxy thought too. Until now. Suddenly, a loud alert rang across the alien fleet. It wasn't from the human side. It was from the alien commanders trying to retreat. "Sir," another officer said, "several of our outer units are trying to run. They're abandoning us." Cavor roared, "Cowards. Tell them to hold their position." "They won't listen," the officer replied. "They say they're not dying for pride." Creed's voice cut through the panic. "They're smart." Cavor turned to him, fists clenched. "Why haven't you attacked yet?" "We don't enjoy war," Creed said. "But when forced, we finish it." The screen suddenly switched. A live video feed began. It showed Earth's high command, a group of calm humans sitting in a control room far away. In the middle was a woman with silver hair and a cold stare. She looked directly at Cavor. "I am Admiral Serena Vale, Supreme Commander of Earth's Defense Forces," she said. "You have broken peace treaties, destroyed colonies, and captured our people. Today, Earth answers." Cavor shouted, "We didn't fear you before, and we don't now." Serena Vale's voice remained calm. "You should." The video ended. Then, Earth's ghost fleet began to move. Not fast, not in panic, but in perfect order. Ships formed tight lines. Dreadnoughts turned, targeting the largest alien ships. Smaller vessels zipped through space, locking onto every weak point. Cavor's own officers were losing control. "They're targeting everything. Sir, if they fire." Creed looked at Cavor. "We'll give you one last chance. Lower your weapons, power down. Surrender." Cavor's voice trembled. "If I say no." Creed stepped closer. "Then this will be your final hour." Cavor stared at the screen. He saw his fleet surrounded. He saw Earth's ships, silent but ready. He saw his people, scared, unsure, leaderless. The war room was silent now. Only the hum of machines remained. Finally, Cavor whispered, This is not over." Creed replied, "No, but it can be, right now, if you choose peace." Cavor hesitated, then gave the order, "Power down our weapons." His officers looked up, shocked. "Do it," he barked, "before we're wiped from the stars." Slowly, one by one, the alien warships began to shut down their weapons. Lights dimmed. Engines cooled. Earth's ghost fleet stayed in place, watching, ready, but they didn't fire. Creed touched his wrist device. A green signal flashed. "Earth sees your choice," he said. "You get to live." Kavor dropped into his chair, defeated. His empire, once proud and loud, had been silenced by a force no one believed in. And by one man who said just 5 words. "I am the backup." The war room was cold, wide, and full of light. Tall screens showed maps of space, glowing red and blue lines. Alien officers stood around a large table, all of them proud and confident. In the center stood Supreme General Kavor, the leader of the Alien Alliance. His eyes were sharp, and his armor shined like metal fire. Another planet had fallen. Another race had surrendered. Earth was next. A young alien officer walked into the room and spoke. "General, we have captured a human." The room went silent for a moment, then filled with loud laughter. Kavor grinned. "A human. Just one. That's all Earth sent to stop us." The doors opened slowly. 2 guards entered, holding a man between them. He looked calm, no fear in his eyes. His black uniform was simple. No weapons, no armor. Just a man, alone. Kavor stepped closer and looked down at the human. "You are the message Earth sends. One small human. Where is your army?" The human looked around the room. His face showed no fear. He didn't speak. He simply smiled. A slow, confident smile. Kavor raised one thick brow. "Answer me, human. What are you doing here?" Finally, the man spoke in a calm voice. "I am the backup." The room froze. No one laughed now. General Kavor blinked. "The backup? What do you mean?" But the man said nothing more. He simply stood tall, like someone who had already won. Kavor turned to his officers. "Search the scanners. Are there any human ships nearby?" "No, sir," said one officer quickly. "The skies are clear. There's nothing." Kavor growled. "Then he's lying." The human's smile grew wider. "Are you sure about that?" At that moment, the lights flickered. Just once. Just enough to make people look up. Kavor noticed the small change. "What is that?" "A power issue." An officer checked the systems. "Everything looks normal. But there's a strange signal near our outer fleet." "What signal?" Kavor asked sharply. "It's strange. Like a ghost. It appears, then disappears." Kavor stared at the human. "Is this your doing?" The human didn't reply. Instead, he looked at the giant screen behind Kavor. A red dot appeared, then another, then 5 more. "General," shouted a panicked voice. "Unknown ships appearing." Kavor turned quickly. "How many?" 8. "No, 10. Wait. Now 15. The officer cried. "They just appeared out of nowhere." Kavor shouted, "Put them on screen." The big screen blinked. Suddenly, dark, sharp, terrifying ships filled the display. They were not like normal human ships. These were black, smooth, and almost invisible. They looked like flying shadows. The officer whispered. They were hiding, using some kind of stealth. We never saw them coming. Kavor's heart pounded. How is this possible? The human spoke again. You laughed because you saw only one man. But Earth doesn't shout before it strikes. We whisper, and then we end you. Kavor growled in anger. Fire at them. Another officer shouted. Weapons won't lock on. Their ships are jamming our systems. Kavor looked around. His proud war room had turned into a place of fear. Officers were shouting, screens flashing red, and outside, Earth's hidden fleet was now moving in. The human stepped forward. The guards holding him didn't move. They were frozen in fear too. I told you, he said. I am the backup. Outside the window, the sky began to glow. One of the alien patrol ships exploded, silently, in space. Kavor's jaw tightened. This was not a scout. This was a full attack, and they had never seen it coming. The human now stood in the center of the room. No fear, no chains. Kavor took a step back. The man looked at the screen and said one word. Begin. Smoke still rose from the broken streets of New Berlin. The sounds of battle were gone. The alien screams had faded. Only the soft hum of the wind remained, and Captain Rice stood alone. He looked around the battlefield one last time. Dozens of crack soldiers lay scattered, some groaning, others unconscious. Rice had spared their lives. He didn't kill for sport. He didn't enjoy war. But he knew something important. Sometimes mercy spreads more fear than blood. Orbiting above Earth, inside a Krax warship, Captain Zorvak watched the destruction on his screen. His hands trembled as he leaned forward. Around him, other officers whispered in fear. General Vorik's unit is gone. One human did this. It's not possible. Zorvak growled. Turn off the feeds. Block the soldiers from seeing this. But it was too late. The image of Rice standing alone on the battlefield had already been seen by hundreds of Krax troops across the galaxy. Videos were copied. Messages were shared between ships. One sentence echoed in every Krax warship. He pointed to himself. Rice's words became legend in hours. On a distant Krax world, planet Garzul, thousands of Krax soldiers trained under red skies. Tanks rolled, ships flew, and weapons fired in the distance. But the mood had changed. Rumors spread like wildfire. Did you hear about Earth? They sent one man. He took down a full army. No, it's fake. It has to be fake. But there's footage. I saw it. A veteran Krax general, old and cold, stood before his troops. He slammed his fist down. We are warriors. We don't fear stories. But inside, he felt something different. He had seen the footage too, and it was not just a story. It was a warning. Back on Earth, inside a hidden military bunker, Rice entered through a black steel door. Scientists, soldiers, and generals stood waiting. Some clapped. Others just stared at him like he wasn't human anymore. He removed his stealth suit, his face calm. General Harper, an older woman with sharp eyes, walked toward him. You've made your point, Rice. Riz nodded. They know now. Do you think they'll retreat? Riz looked at the sky through a glass window. Above, many Krax ships still floated in orbit, but they were no longer moving. They were waiting. No, he said softly. Not yet. Inside a Krax council room, on the flagship Dreadfire, the 5 highest-ranking Krax leaders met in a dark chamber. The air was tense. Their red eyes glowed under the lights. This human cannot be real, one hissed. He was alone. No army, another said. But he brought down Vorik's entire ground force. And now our ships are infected with a virus. The leader, Emperor Cernax, slammed his staff. Enough. One human cannot defeat the Krax Empire. The room went silent. Then a quiet voice spoke. But what if Earth has more like him? That question sat heavy in the air. No one answered. Aboard a crippled Krax ship, orbiting Earth, inside a broken warship, young Krax cadets sat in silence. One of them played the video again. The moment General Vorik shouted, "Where's your army?" and the human simply pointed to himself. They watched it over and over. The human didn't shout. He didn't threaten. He didn't brag. He just stood, strong, calm, unafraid. One cadet asked, "What kind of people are these humans?" Another replied, "I don't know, but they don't fear death. That makes them dangerous." Back on Earth, Reese prepares for the next strike. In the silent training chamber, Reese punched into a steel wall. The wall cracked. He wasn't training for strength. He was keeping control. His mind played every detail of the mission. every cracks he fought, every step he took. He knew this wasn't over. The cracks were watching, planning, waiting, and Earth needed more time. General Harper entered the room. "The world is talking about you. You've become a symbol." "I'm not a symbol," Ray said. "Then what are you?" He looked her in the eyes. "I'm the last warning." The battlefield was silent. Cracked soldiers lay on the ground, their bodies broken, their armor cracked. Their weapons were useless. Their systems were down. In the middle stood Captain Rice, calm and still. His eyes scanned the area. There were no more enemies around him, only fear in the air. Far above the ground, Crack's ships were still spinning in chaos. Inside one of the largest warships, alarms screamed. Crack's commanders shouted orders. Nothing worked. Computers froze. Lights blinked. A strange virus had entered their main system, and that virus had come from Ray's. Flashback. 6 months earlier, Earth's secret lab. Deep under the Rocky Mountains, hidden from satellites and alien scanners, a group of Earth's best minds worked on one final plan. The Cracks were winning the war in space. Earth had no chance in open battle. So the leaders turned to Project Ghost Titan. One soldier, not a machine, not a robot, a human, but upgraded. They chose Ray's. He was already one of the best, strong, fast, calm, and fearless. But with Project Ghost Titan, he became more. His bones were reinforced with a secret metal. His muscles were rebuilt to be 5 times stronger. His brain was connected to a powerful AI inside his head. And his skin, it could bend light, making him invisible when needed. But more than all that, Race had something no machine ever could: a human heart. He didn't fight for glory. He didn't fight for power. He fought to protect Earth, his home. Back to present day. Earth, Crack's war zone. General Vorik stared at Rise from behind cover. His claws gripped his blade tightly. He had never faced this before. One man had destroyed a full attack team. "This is no soldier," Vorik said to himself. "This is a weapon." He gave the signal. Hundreds of Crack soldiers began to move. They came from all sides: rooftops, underground tunnels, dropships. Reyes was surrounded. But Reyes didn't run. He didn't even flinch. He closed his eyes and disappeared. The soldiers gasped. Where did he go? Then chaos began. One by one, soldiers were pulled into the shadows, thrown against walls, dragged into smoke. They fired in every direction, but they hit nothing. Screams echoed, then silence. Reyes was using his full stealth system now. His skin bent the light. His footsteps made no sound. He moved like a ghost, a silent storm. He used no gun, only his hands. His speed was too fast for the Cracks to track. Their eyes couldn't see him. Their ears couldn't hear him. Their scanners were blind. It wasn't a battle. It was a message. Earth wasn't weak. Earth had changed. Inside a Crack ship, watching in terror, a young Crack's tech officer watched the screen, shaking. "Sir, we can't find the human. He's invisible, untouchable." Another officer said, "Reports from the ground say he's walking through our forces like wind. We are losing full squads." "Impossible," growled the captain. "He's just one man." But deep inside, they all knew the truth. He wasn't just a man anymore. On the ground, final moments of the attack. Within 10 minutes, every Crack soldier in that zone was down. Some unconscious, some in pain, none dead. Rice was careful not to kill unless he had to. He stood again in the center of the battlefield. General Vorik stood across from him, his army gone. He looked into Rice's eyes and saw no anger, just cold control. "Who are you?" Vorik whispered. Rice spoke slowly. "I'm from Earth. That's all you need to know." Vorik pointed a shaking finger at him. "You can't stop the Crack's empire alone." Ray stepped closer. I'm not stopping it. He smiled. I'm ending it. Above Earth, Crack's command in panic. The virus Ray's planted had now spread. Crack's warships in orbit began to crash into one another. Systems failed. Shields went down. Power cores exploded. Earth's satellites, thought to be destroyed, came back online. They had only faked their destruction. Earth's silent war had begun, with one man as the spear.